As we grow older, many of us start to notice the inevitable changes that come with age, especially after 80. You might have been sharp, active, and doing well just a few years ago. Yet now, there's a slow, steady decline that feels hard to explain. It's frustrating, isn't it? And so often, the assumption is that it's all just about genetics or luck. But I'm here to tell you that's only part of the story. In this video, I'm going to reveal 5 surprising reasons that are often overlooked, yet they play a huge role in why so many older adults struggle to stay healthy and thrive after 80. These aren't the typical causes like diet, smoking, or exercise. These are the deeper, more subtle factors that often slip through the cracks, even in those who have done most things right. But here's the good news. Once you understand these hidden causes, you can take action to protect yourself. If you've ever wondered what's truly standing in the way of your health and longevity after 80 and how you can start making changes right now, then stick with me until the end of this video. The solutions I'll share could be exactly what you need to transform the way you age before it's too late. And before we dive in, if you're finding this video helpful already, I encourage you to give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell. This is your go-to place for daily health tips that make a real difference. If any of what I've said resonates with you, if you started noticing these subtle changes in your life, then drop a 0 in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and know you're here with me. Now, let's dive into the first reason why so many older adults face challenges after 80 and how we can turn it around. Number 1, the silent loss of everyday connections. As we age, one of the most subtle yet powerful shifts that happens is the quiet fading of what experts call microsocial engagement. These aren't the big family gatherings or close friendships that we cherish, though those still matter deeply. Instead, it's the tiny, often unnoticed interactions that once filled your day, like greeting the mailman with a smile, exchanging a quick laugh with the cashier, or nodding at a neighbor passing by. What's easy to overlook is that these seemingly trivial moments are more than just pleasant distractions. They are vital to your well-being. They help regulate your nervous system, foster a sense of belonging, and keep your mind sharp. But as we age, particularly after 80, these interactions begin to slip away. Many older adults stop going out to the store, preferring to order things online, or rely on family. Conversations with strangers become less frequent due to hearing loss, and daily walks outside are curtailed due to discomfort or fear of instability. As these small exchanges fade from life, something else fades with them: vitality. The thing is, many people don't even notice it happening. They believe they're simply simplifying life. But what they're really doing is cutting off the low-level social interactions that nourish their brain, lift their mood, and remind their body that they're still an active part of the world. It doesn't need to be a grand effort to make a difference. I've known men in their 80s who maintain their sharpness just by taking a short walk to the local coffee shop each morning, greeting the same staff, and exchanging a quick nod with the same familiar faces. Those few minutes of human connection weren't just part of routine. They were life-sustaining. They gave their day structure, a sense of purpose, and the reassurance that they matter to others. And here's the thing. There's a very real biological toll when these interactions disappear. Loneliness, whether it's deep isolation or the subtle absence of small connections, becomes a stressor to the body. It disrupts hormone levels, increases inflammation, weakens the immune system, and most importantly, it shrinks the very neural networks in the brain responsible for memory, attention, and emotional regulation. In simple terms, it makes you feel older faster. So, if you've noticed you're talking less to others, if you've stopped running those quick errands, or if casual conversations have become rare, it's time to make a change. Reintroduce those small moments of connection. They may seem insignificant, but they send a powerful message to your body and brain. You still matter. You are still a part of something. And that message is one of the most potent remedies for aging, not just in years, but in spirit. Number 2, the silent weight of grief and isolation. By the time many reach their 80s, they've experienced more loss than most can fathom, whether it's a spouse, a sibling, a lifelong friend, or sometimes even a child. The world may offer its polite condolences, but what often goes unspoken is the immense weight of these losses, not just a memory, but in the very fabric of the body itself. What happens after 80 isn't simply the process of grieving. It's the quiet suppression of those emotions. It's a slow, almost imperceptible habit of swallowing the pain instead of allowing it to be expressed. You wear a brave face, telling yourself you should be used to it by now, or that no one truly understands the depth of your sorrow. But here's the reality. The body doesn't forget. Unprocessed grief, the feelings we never speak about, never share, never fully allow ourselves to feel, doesn't vanish. It becomes stored, bottled up inside, and over time, this emotional weight begins to manifest physically. It impacts your immune system, disrupts your digestion, and even robs you of sleep. It shifts your hormonal balance, leaving your nervous system in a constant, low-grade state of tension. The hardest part? It happens without anyone noticing. On the outside, you may appear calm, perhaps even tell people you're fine. But if you notice that your shoulders have become heavier, your breath a bit more shallow, or that a faint sense of joy is harder to find, it might be the silent presence of grief lingering beneath the surface, grief that hasn't been allowed to breathe. I remember a man named George, 86, who lost his wife of 60 years. He never cried much. He said it wasn't his way. He insisted he was doing just fine. But within a year, he had lost weight, stopped attending the senior center, and struggled with sleep. Not because he was physically ill, but because his body was carrying sorrow he had never been able to release. The truth is, emotional pain doesn't need to be dramatic to be destructive. Often, the effects don't show up until much later, and by the time they do, the connection isn't always clear. What allows people to thrive well into their 80s and beyond isn't just physical strength. It's emotional release. It's finding safe spaces to share sadness, fear, loneliness, or anger. It's being able to say, I miss her, or I'm still grieving, without judgment. That release is what helps the heart heal. And when the heart heals, the body can follow. That's why those who live longest often have an outlet for their emotions. It could be a trusted friend, a journal, a spiritual practice, or even a therapist who helps them unpack decades of untold stories. Whatever the form, the principle remains. What is expressed has the power to transform. What is buried, however, festers. So, if you've been holding on to something, not because you want to, but because you didn't know where else to place it, now is the time to make room for it. Not just for the sake of your emotions, but for your life. Because the truth is, the heart can only carry so much before it begins to close off. If you want to live well past 80, not just existing, but truly alive, you must allow yourself to feel. Number 3, how irregular light disrupts your sleep and health. Inside your body, there's a quiet, invisible clock that doesn't tick, yet governs everything, from your mood and metabolism to your immune system, and even how your brain repairs itself during the night. After the age of 80, this internal clock, known as your circadian rhythm, becomes particularly sensitive. One of the most common culprits in throwing it off track is an imbalance of light exposure. Too little light during the day and too much at night. At first, you may not notice it. Perhaps you've started napping more during the day, drifting off in the warmth of the afternoon sun. Or maybe, in the colder months, you've stopped stepping outside as much. In the evenings, you may turn on the TV or keep the lights on while reading or watching a movie long past sunset. These small changes might seem insignificant, but together, they confuse your body about when it's supposed to be awake and alert and when it's time to rest. Your body relies on natural light to stay in sync. Bright morning sunlight signals your brain that it's time to wake up, to start moving, and to send energy where it's needed. Then, as darkness falls, your body releases melatonin, the hormone that gently guides you into restful, healing sleep. But when you don't get enough of that vital natural light during the day, or when your evenings are filled with artificial light from screens or lamps, your internal cues get scrambled. The result? You may find it harder to fall asleep or stay asleep. You could wake up feeling groggy, even after a full 8 hours in bed. Your energy might dip throughout the day, and you may notice your memory becoming cloudier than usual. Over time, this disruption in sleep doesn't just affect your energy, it compromises your immune function, destabilizes your mood, and even increases the risk of cognitive decline. Another important issue is vitamin D. Your body naturally produces it when your skin is exposed to sunlight. But after 80, your ability to synthesize vitamin D through your skin decreases, making regular outdoor exposure even more essential. Without it, your bones, muscles, and immune system begin to suffer. I remember speaking to a woman named Helen, who was 84 and had been feeling more tired and disoriented than ever. Her blood work was fine, her diet hadn't changed, and she wasn't on any new medications. Her breakthrough came when her doctor recommended something simple. Spend 20 minutes every morning sitting by a window with the blinds open and turn off all screens at least 1 hour before bed. Within 2 weeks, her sleep, memory, and mood all improved. It wasn't a miracle pill, it was light. If you've been spending most of your days indoors with the curtains drawn, or have your evenings filled with blue light from your phone or TV, it's time to make a change. Try to get outside within an hour of waking up, even if it's just for a few minutes on your porch. Let the natural light bathe your eyes and skin. In the evening, dim the lights and allow your body to ease into rest. These simple rhythms aren't just comforting, they're essential for your survival. Because what many don't realize is that the body doesn't simply age from wear and tear. It also ages from disorganization, from systems being out of sync. Restoring your natural light exposure, regulating your sleep, and reconnecting with your daily rhythms. That's how you bring back order. That's how you tell your body, even at 85, we're still on track. We're still moving. We're still here. Number 4, the hidden danger of overcautiousness. As we age, the instinct to play it safe becomes stronger. After all, we want to avoid injuries and protect our bodies. But there's a subtle shift that happens when caution crosses the line into overcaution. It may seem like the wisest choice at first, but the truth is the consequences of too much caution don't show up immediately. They creep in bit by bit, and over time, they add up. It often starts with a single event. Maybe you slipped on the stairs or nearly lost your balance walking on the sidewalk. You think to yourself, I need to take it easier. And so you begin to cut back on simple activities. You stop reaching for things on high shelves, avoid bending down too often, and start driving less. You find yourself sitting more and staying seated longer. The people around you even encourage you. Don't push it, take it easy. And so, without realizing it, you create a life that feels safe, but also increasingly still. But here's the thing no one tells you. When you stop moving, you lose more than just muscle strength. You lose your coordination, your balance, and the core stability that keeps everything else in check. Your body is a machine that can rest to stay efficient. It's like a garden that needs regular care. And when movement slows to a trickle, things don't remain the same. They deteriorate. The first place this shows up is in your core. Those deep trunk muscles, responsible for standing, walking, lifting, even getting up from a chair, are often taken for granted. But when you stop using them, even for a short time, they start to shrink. And as those muscles weaken, your balance suffers and you begin to feel unsteady. It's a vicious cycle that deepens the longer you stay inactive. I remember a man named Walter, who was 82 and had always taken evening walks. One day, he slipped on a rainy day. No broken bones, just a scare. But that scare was enough to stop him from walking altogether. He went from walking a mile every evening to sitting in front of the television most nights. Within 6 months, he lost 10 pounds of muscle. His legs felt weak, like jelly. His doctor warned him, but by then, the damage was already done. Walter didn't stop walking because he was weak. He became weak because he stopped moving. Now, I'm not suggesting you ignore real risks. There are smart ways to protect yourself. Use handrails, wear sturdy shoes, clear the walkways, and don't hesitate to use a cane if you need it. But here's the crucial point. There's a difference between managing risk and surrendering to it. When fear starts to control your every move, your body forgets how to move at all. So, if you started doing less, not because your body can't handle it, but because you're afraid of what might happen, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, am I truly protecting myself, or am I slowly fading away? Because staying alive after 80 isn't just about avoiding falls. It's about finding ways to keep moving, even if it's more slowly, more cautiously, or more deliberately. Movement is what keeps your body alive. It's how your muscles stay strong, your mind stays sharp, and your heart continues to beat with purpose. Number 5, the quiet erosion of daily purpose. One of the most overlooked reasons why many people fail to truly thrive past 80 is the gradual fading of something so fundamental we often take it for granted until it's gone. Daily purpose. Not the grand, life-changing purpose we sometimes envision, but the small, everyday kind. The kind that gets you out of bed in the morning with a reason to move, a task to accomplish, someone to see. Purpose doesn't have to be monumental. It can be as simple as watering your plant before the sun rises, feeding the stray cat who waits at your door, writing a letter to a loved one, or tightening the screw on the fence that's been loose for months. But when these small routines start to slip away, when the mornings begin to arrive with no sense of urgency, and the evenings end with nothing to reflect on, something within you begins to quietly shut down. The body listens to the mind, and when the mind no longer has a reason to push forward, the body follows. Your appetite fades, your movement slow, and without purpose, your body systems begin to fall silent. Not because they're broken, but because they're waiting for a reason to restart. It's easy to miss this shift. It happens gradually. Maybe your weekly coffee dates with friends stopped. Maybe the community group you loved attending disbanded. Maybe your family visits became less frequent. Or you stopped volunteering after your knees started aching. You tell yourself it's just part of aging. But deep down, you feel it. The days begin to blur together, each one quieter than the last, and the rhythm of your life begins to fade. I once met a woman named Ruth, 88, whose energy was brighter than most people half her age. She wasn't wealthy, didn't enjoy perfect health, and wasn't surrounded by a large family, but she had one unshakable anchor in her routine. Every Monday, she wrote postcards to elderly members of her church. Every Thursday, she made soup and froze it for a local shelter. Every afternoon, she sat by her window to watch the neighborhood children walk home from school, learning their names and exchanging waves. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave her days texture, a sense of rhythm and the continuity of life. And that, perhaps, is the greatest secret. The body stays alive as long as it believes it is still needed. Purpose, no matter how small, acts as fuel. It tells your cells to keep repairing, your organs to keep functioning, your mind to keep learning. When you lose that sense of relevance, when you feel like your presence no longer matters to anyone or anything, the light inside you begins to dim. That's why those who live beyond 80 with energy and grace often have something grounding them each day. It could be tending to a garden, caring for a pet, writing in a journal, a daily prayer, a phone call to a friend, or even a cherished routine. What matters isn't the size of the task. It's the consistency. It's knowing that when you open your eyes in the morning, there's something that gives you a reason to rise. So, if you've been feeling adrift, as though your days have lost their shape or meaning, take notice. That's not just a sense of sadness. It's a signal from your body. It's calling for rhythm, structure, connection, and purpose once again. Because at the end of the day, longevity isn't just about your heart continuing to beat. It's about your heart wanting to beat. And it's that quiet, persistent desire to keep going, to stay connected, to still matter. That's what keeps people alive and thriving well beyond 80. Number 6, the impact of chronic stress. One of the often overlooked factors that can significantly affect the health and longevity of older adults is chronic stress. Stress is a natural response to challenges, but when it becomes a constant companion, it starts to wear the body down in ways that aren't always immediately visible. For many older adults, long-term stress can silently contribute to a variety of health issues, both mental and physical. Chronic stress, when experienced over years, has a profound impact on the body. It raises levels of the hormone cortisol, which, over time, can lead to higher blood pressure, a weakened immune system, and an increased risk of heart disease. What most people don't realize is that this constant activation of the stress response can also interfere with sleep, disrupt digestion, and even impair memory. This leaves the body in a constant state of fight or flight, never truly able to relax or recuperate. Beyond the physical toll, the mental and emotional effects of chronic stress are just as damaging. Over time, living in a state of constant worry or tension can contribute to anxiety, depression, and even feelings of hopelessness. Many older adults experience isolation or loss, and without proper emotional support, the weight of unprocessed stress can create a heavy burden on the mind. The most dangerous part? It's often gradual. At first, you may not even notice that stress is taking its toll. You might feel tired, irritable, or overwhelmed, but think it's just part of getting older. However, as these feelings compound, they begin to erode your health, your sense of well-being, and your ability to cope. If you've noticed that you're constantly on edge, or that stress seems to follow you even in your downtime, it's time to take action. Learning to manage stress isn't just about feeling better in the moment. It's about protecting your health and ensuring that you're not allowing stress to silently age you faster. Finding outlets for stress, whether through meditation, physical activity, creative hobbies, or simply connecting with others, can help break the cycle and restore balance to your life. Because in the end, chronic stress doesn't just affect your mind, it ages your body too. And if you want to thrive beyond 80, you need to manage stress with intention and care. Number 7, lack of mental stimulation. As we age, it's easy to think that physical health is the only thing that needs attention. However, one of the most important, yet often neglected, aspects of healthy aging is mental stimulation. The brain, much like the body, requires exercise to stay sharp and strong. Without consistent mental engagement, cognitive decline can accelerate, leading to memory issues, slower thinking, and even conditions like dementia. When we reach our 80s and beyond, it's easy to fall into a routine that doesn't challenge the mind. Maybe you've stopped reading as much, stopped playing puzzles or games, or have lost a desire to learn something new. These small changes can gradually lead to a decline in cognitive function. The brain, unlike other organs, doesn't simply rest when not in use. It begins to lose connections and shrink in areas responsible for memory, focus, and problem solving. The effects of mental inactivity aren't always immediate. It starts slowly, with small lapses in memory or difficulty recalling names or dates. You may notice that your mind feels foggy or less agile, but it's often dismissed as just part of aging. However, the truth is that the brain needs stimulation to thrive. Learning new things, solving problems, engaging in stimulating conversations, or even try a new hobby can help keep your brain active and in good health. It doesn't have to be complex. Simple activities like reading, doing crosswords, playing a musical instrument, or even learning a new language can all help to keep your brain engaged. It's not about becoming a scholar. It's about consistently challenging yourself to think in new ways. These activities help forge new neural pathways, boosting your memory, creativity, and overall cognitive function. The consequences of neglecting mental stimulation can be profound. Without regular mental exercise, the brain starts to atrophy, and with it, your ability to focus, think critically, and retain information. But the good news is that it's never too late to start. Just like physical exercise keeps your body strong, mental exercise is essential for keeping your brain sharp and engaged. So, if you found that your mental energy has been waning or that you're spending more time in passive activities, now is the time to make a change. Seek out activities that challenge your brain and push you to think differently. Whether it's picking up a book, joining a new class, or even starting a hobby you've always wanted to try. These small steps can help ensure that your mind stays just as vibrant as your body as you age. After all, the key to a long, healthy life is not just keeping your body moving, but keeping your mind active too. Final reflections. As we reach the end of this video, I want to leave you with a simple, yet profound truth. Most people don't begin to fade after 80 due to a single moment. It's not one diagnosis, one fall, or one birthday that marks the turning point. No, it's a slow, almost imperceptible fading of habits, routines, and the reasons that once made life feel full. And often, these changes are so subtle, so gradual, that we don't realize what's happening until something inside us starts to feel a little dimmer. But here's the good news. Just as these shifts take time to unfold, they can also be reversed bit by bit. One walk outside, one more conversation with a stranger at the store, one small stretch in the morning, one action you take today, not because you have to, but because it adds structure, connection, or meaning to your life. That's the first step in turning things around. Now, think about the 5 unexpected reasons we've talked about. Which one struck you the most? Which one hit a little too close to home? And most importantly, which one are you ready to take action on, even in the smallest way? Starting today? The truth is, You have more power than you realize, not to stop aging, but to change how you age. If you can stay attuned to the quiet shifts, if you can protect your rhythms, safeguard your purpose, and allow yourself to feel what needs to be felt, then there's a strong chance you won't just reach 80. You'll live far beyond it with joy, vitality, and on your own terms. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you've learned from this video and how you plan to apply it to your own life. Your thoughts matter to us, and reading your comments truly motivates and inspires us. If you enjoyed this video and found it valuable, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support enables us to keep creating meaningful content to help and inspire you. Thanks again for watching, and we can't wait to see you in the next video.